The Arsenic Labyrinth by Martin Edwards. Have you ever been involved with a murder? In a district in England, there was a murder that was swept under the rug several years before of this young girl who ended up being buried like in the lake, one would say, and it was swept under the rug as it being a murder. They just swept it under as the idea as was, oh, she just ran away or she mysteriously died. The detective came to town and he was like, I've heard about this case and I want to dig deeper into it because I don't think she just disappeared. I think she was murdered. The quick summary of it is Arsenic Labyrinth by Martin Edwards is a mystery set in the Lake District. So he digs deeper and uncovers secrets of the past to link the victims because there was more victims and people that have died in this area, but they had never found out who really did it and what the cause of their death was. And that's why he came to the town, because he was really interested in it. And he was like, no, there needs to be justice for these people that have died because they didn't just randomly die in so many different ways. Harry Delvin, who is the investigator or detective, you would say, is called to investigate a series of deaths that appear to be connected to an old abandoned mining site in the Lake District. He digs deeper and discovers like darker history involving all the murders, including like underground like tunnels and like mines in the area, and the victims seem to be tied to the secret of the past. And hidden truths come out, and more comes out about the murders that this Lake District has just swept under the rug for so many years. It is in I think it's northwest England, around that area, in like a kind of a lake town. And there's a dark forest, it's hills. It's not like a beachy lake town. It's more of a kind of like an eerie lake, you would say. And there used to be mining there and everything. So it's like a town that's been around for a really long time. And that is where it takes set. Important characters are Harry Delvin, Kate Delvin, his like kind of estranged wife, and then William Calvert and Jack Forshaw. So the main detective is Harry Delvin. He's the one who like goes through the trials and stuff like that and is most invested in the murders. Kate Delvin is his wife, and they have a kind of a weird relationship. They're not like how married, like romantic cartoon married couples would act, but her connection to the case makes a key figure in the investigation. Jack Forshaw, he's a local man who becomes a suspect in the investigation. His involvement with the mining tunnels and his mysterious behaviors make him a central figure for the mystery. So, like, he's been, like, around, like, all these places where these people have been killed. Like, he was a miner in the tunnels and all that stuff. William Calvert, he's a wealthy man in the area with ties to the area's history, and Calvert's actions and past are linked to being investigated with the crime. And his role in the story, like, it unravels through the thing between him and the victims and, like, parts of the environment he's been in. 4 common themes are secrets of the past. So, like, throughout the investigation, the detective discovers, like, more and more things about the past that were, like, never brought up before. Isolation and danger, like, in the eerie setting of the Lake District, it, like, creates an atmosphere for isolation. So, like, it feels scarier than it should be. It's like if someone got murdered at a Walmart versus someone getting murdered in the forest. Like, which one's scarier? Because I'm going to say a forest than the Walmart. The impact of the environment of human behavior. So it's like harsh and mysterious landscape reflects the darker sides of human nature. So it shows like how human can actually be evil and we're not overall like very good. And justice and morality. That's why the detective came to town, because he was so invested how there was no justice towards these victims. So my relations with the book, it reminded me of Outer Banks. If you've watched Outer Banks, you know how it begins like the main character's dad goes missing and they slowly unravel more and more mysteries throughout the show. And that's pretty much how this book is. Like, as it goes on, there are more and more stuff to, like, come out. Overall, like, this book was very dry. There wasn't, like, a lot of intense imagery used. It was very, very matter of fact, which kept it a little hard for me to read. But it wasn't a bad way it was written, but it was written, like, very sophisticated. My overall impression of this book, the book wasn't my favorite. I didn't enjoy the format of it, and it made it hard for me to get through the book just because I'm not a big reader overall, so it made it harder for me to, like, understand what was going on. But I would recommend this book for some much older person who is boring. Not in the way of, like, being a boring person, but, like, the stuff they read is much more, like, academically rigorous, and that is not who I am, pretty much. But thank you for listening.